Hey there, sunshine friends. It's time for another spectacular episode of Life in a Hiatus. Hi, we are back again, and we wanted to kind of give you a preview of some of the scripts from episode 1 and episode 2 of the coming season. And we're also going to probably show you some concept art. Now, you probably have seen some of our concept art if you've been following our TikToks, where we sort of put our travel diaries together. And our travels and what's been going on in our life during hiatus kind of inspired the plot line of this current season. We're just sort of inspired by what happens in our lives. So we're going to start by reading you off a little bit.
A little bit. Got a little bit of time here.
Yeah. This scene takes place directly after the events of the very last episode of the U-Mind, which had some little crossover animations that we started doing at the beginning to do a tie-in.
Shall we keep going?
Mm-hmm.
There's a rustling sound and a squeak. What is that thing?
She's not a thing. She's Sorochka.
And what, pray tell, is a sorochka?
Well,
It looks like a marshmallow fetus.
that's not supportive language.
Tell me where you got this thing, and I'll tell you if I can support it or not.
Okay. Well, don't get mad.
Where did you get this Pillsbury dough beast?
So, you remember when I got kidnapped and taken to the Soviet vampires' underground base?
Yes, as I recall, your friends at the Temporal Mitigation Agency blew it up.
Right. So the base was actually a sentient organism bioengineered from amaranthian DNA.
Fascinating. And how does that explain this gyrating ball of s'more innards?
She's the,
The what?
well, in the explosion,
Of the Soviet base.
a chunk of the base got stuck in my hair.
I see.
And I accidentally brought it home.
And?
And, well, here she is. She's getting so big. Come on, Scratch, isn't she cute? How could something so chubby, wubby, adorable be dangerous? You're not saying anything. Are you mad?
Mad. We're here in 1995, hiding out in the past, trying to avoid the all-seeing eyes of the interdimensional overlords.
I kind of botched that too, actually.
Oh, believe me, I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And you cheerfully invite the pawn of our as-of-yet most hated adversaries into our home because, she's cute.
But you do admit she's cute, right?
Does she do anything useful?
I'm not really sure yet. Mostly she just manages my social media.
You're giving your snot ball.
Her name is Sorochka, actually.
I don't care what pet name you've given this thing. She's a creation of the Soviet vampires, and you've blissfully given access to all your personal information.
Uh-oh. They're blowing up my DMs again.
The Soviet vampires?
Oh, no. Internet people.
What do these internet people need from you so urgently?
Oh, attention, placating their delusions, that kind of thing.
Yes. Oh, you certainly wouldn't want to miss pearls of wisdom like, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy, spoken by a rotund cat.
Yeah, that's a round boy. Like that one, Sorochka.
Or Bugs Bunny, wishing a very pleasant evening to some specified epoch of humanity.
Ooh, care react that one, girl.
Napoleon, why do you bother with this nonsense? You run a shit-tier podcast that...
You see, that's the only way people pay attention to a caca tier podcast like mine. You have to grease the wheels a little bit.
Grease their wheels?
Oh, yeah. You leave a like for all these people's posts, answer all their DMs, even when they never stop coming, and...
Dear Nap, Your skin looks disgustingly orange in your last video. Please fix this at once. I'm so horribly worried about you.
Oh, it's, yeah, my bad. I selfishly went to the park to walk the hellhounds the day before instead of responsibly sitting in front of my computer for 18 hours. I may have accidentally picked up a slight tan.
That's a tan.
Well, for me. I mean, have you seen Marco?
True.
Marco's my sibling on Creeping Wave Radio. We don't care for each other. And hijinks ensue. Yay, fun. You should totally tune in. Oh, they're replying.
Already?
Guess so. They say, you should try a medieval bloodletting. Ooh, that works wonders for the complexion.
No, absolutely not.
Why not? It would give me material for a new episode and it can't kill me, so.
No, but I can't abide by the mess it would make.
Understood. Let's see. What else do we have here?
Let me read this one. My heart is broken today because I posted like 4 Minions memes. It's been 10 minutes and you've yet to respond. How could you ignore me like this? I feel like our entire relationship is a lie. Well, I mean it is.
But when you get right down to it, what isn't a lie? I mean, who's to say what reality is anyway?
Here's one. I'm so upset and betrayed that you haven't taken my advice and utilized that charming Scratch character in more of your podcast.
It doesn't say that.
Maybe it should. Doesn't it? What is reality anyways?
I try not to think about it, really. I just leave likes, implement all their suggestions blindly, obey their advice.
Until you're just a puppet with access to a microphone and editing equipment.
Jeez, it sounds so dramatic when you word it like that. I think of it more as becoming a willing canvas for their...
Vandalism?
Well, that's one word for it.
So people don't just listen to your podcast out of, say, genuine interest?
Oh, no, that's not how it works at all. The internet is like a herd of Annie Wilkes clones, except with Minions memes.
Who?
Oh, the Minions. They're these little yellow things?
No. I know who the Minions are.
You do?
Oh, yes. Regrettably, they...
Take it again.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Regrettably, they were a favorite of my littlest hellspawns. They even had a Minion's birthday party. Ugh.
Huh. Wow.
But who's Annie Wilkes?
Oh, you remember Kathy Bates' character in Misery? Where she's all like, I'm your #1 fan! And then takes over this author's life?
Ah, yes. Who could forget the immortal hobbling scene? A classic.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected she would be the reference I'd have to explain to you.
Well, with the show on hiatus, you have the freedom to simply ignore those haranguers.
Take that line again.
What is that?
Haranguers,
I know what it means, but I don't know how to fucking pronounce it.
Haranguers? But you can say harassers.
Harassers.
Or annoy those fans, or whatever you want to say. Well, we'll change that line. Let's say, ignore those fans. Yeah. Like that. Okay.
Well,
Nah.
Well, with the show on hiatus, you have the freedom to simply ignore these fans.
Oh, no. I can't do that.
Oh, yes, you can. It's quite simple, you see. I'll show you.
Oh, okay.
You see this incoming message?
Right.
And this one. And this one. And now this one.
Right.
You just delete.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, yes, I can. One less distraction for you.
But it's a digital death sentence.
Perhaps that's for the best. I need your mind to be keenly focused on finding that second cylinder in 1995. We'll be spending a lot more time there. now that you don't have a podcast to attend to. Delete, delete, delete.
No, please. You don't understand what you're doing.
Believe me, I do. Come with me.
Oh, do I have a choice? Yes, I have Sorochka, but we didn't bring her over because she's kind of unnecessary when we're just reading. But here she is. So, okay. She's a Pier 1 Halloween decoration. Isn't she so cute? Oh my gosh, she's just so cuddly and adorable. So, Scratch implemented this training regiment. Skills he said would be useful in our search for the second cylinder. We sort of jumped between the past and the present to try and hide our movement as best we could from interested parties. I mean, if there even are any. Mostly it was just like a lot of camping and hiking and, weird hippie nature stuff.
Ah, here we are. Mount Calavera, an extinct volcano plug located in sunny Oceanside, California.
Scratch, we've already hiked this trail before.
Have we?
Yeah, it was excruciating.
Indeed.
Do we really need to do it again?
Well, we aren't hiking it. Not today.
Okay, good.
We're climbing up the cliff face this time.
What? We can't. I can't climb that thing.
Don't you ever get tired of living in fear?
I'm not. I mean, I don't live in fear, that is.
Yes, you do. For the past 4 years, I've watched you cower before the glow of your monitor, worshipping at the altar of social media.
I wasn't worshipping.
Weren't you? People you actively avoid in your real life, you're all too happy to elevate to digital deities, sacrificing the precious gift of your existence in the name of likes, comments, and care reacts.
Okay, well, yeah, but not out of fear.
Yes, fear of irrelevance. Fear that no one will bother with your silly little podcast without you currying their favor.
Well, that is how it's done.
And how can you keep up that merry little jig? How long can you go on placating them before they tire of your tithings and demand more?
Well...
Exactly. And when you can no longer appease them, then
you face their retribution.
I haven't read this one.
Ah! Okay.
Exactly. And when you can no longer appease them, then you face their retribution.
Retribution? Forgot about that. I haven't been able to log in long enough and see what kind of retribution I have waiting for me.
Perhaps a nasty little rumor, some unflattering pictures, or even a bald-faced lie or two.
Great.
And little by little, all that you have worked for will have crumbled beneath your feet. But of course, that was a fate you invented.
Invited. Try it again.
And little by little, all that you worked for will have crumbled beneath your feet. But of course, that was a fate you invited.
No, you invited it.
Well, now I'm giving you something more substantial to fear.
And what is that, sir?
Gravity.
Wow, you're still listening. Okay. Well, now a very special excerpt from episode 2. Napoleon is speaking into a clunky 90s-style audio recorder in an attempt to keep a memory record, since their own memory often fails them. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah. So I had potentially attracted the attention of some interdimensional overlords. Side note, I don't actually know what they look like because I've never seen them in person, but I'm pretty sure they look like the guys from Howard the Duck. So my boss, Old Scratch, started ushering me through space and time on a little training program he came up with to prepare me for the inevitable confrontation, I guess. Currently, I'm hanging off the side of an extinct volcano by one hand. Scratch, help me!
Help yourself. Remember, I said no teleporting. That's cheating.
Help myself? I'm dangling here by one hand with no foothold.
Yes, I can see that.
Just help me or I'm gonna fall.
So fall then.
What?
Go ahead and fall.
Wow, thanks.
You're an immortal Amaranthian, Napoleon.
So?
So the fall won't kill you.
No, but it won't exactly tickle either. And regrowing pulverized bones is a real pain in the neck. Literally, in this case.
True. Yet all the time you've wasted dangling here, begging me to swoop into your rescue, you might have found another ledge, another hold, or even attempted to go back the way you came.
Stop standing there lecturing me and pull me up.
Suddenly, Napoleon teleports away.
Always so ready to take the easy way out.
Scratch teleports in pursuit.
Napoleon, I said no teleporting.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. I saw you.
No, I didn't do it. It was these guys. So yeah, so that is a chunk from our podcast for the next season that we're working on. Hopefully we'll be able to cook up some pictures to go along with it. You kind of see what we do when I direct my actors. Normally they're not sitting right next to me. He usually is.
Ultimately, we'd like to be working in a recording studio or something like that for the next season.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glowy. That's okay. So he is normally sitting next to me, and that actually is why you're one of my more difficult actors. Because my other actors,
Who I'm working on raising money to pay for the following reasons.
when I upset them or they don't like a direction that I give them, we have several weeks before I have to interact with them again or that kind of thing. Or maybe I don't interact with them at all after that. And they don't really, they get over it. But with you, like, if I upset you, if I say like, well, you should have read it, you had 2 weeks to read it and you knew we were going to be doing this, that kind of thing, then you get angry, and then everything I do after that point like escalates the anger, and there's like no. So I guess the moral of the story is be real careful before agreeing to work with an actor who you cohabitate with. So yeah, I normally don't make my actors too angry, but I do like make them take lines over and over again, or there'll be words in there, and I'll have people like argue like, no, it's misspelled. I'm like, no, it's spelled correctly. I just need you to say it. Well, I would if it was spelled correctly. Okay, how do you spell it? That kind of thing. And so sometimes there's like little arguments that happen, or we're just going to leave the light off for this because the spooky light coming from the computer is working for me. So we just like, yeah, and kind of like I said before, like a lot of times you'll be like, I gave you the script 2 weeks ago and you haven't read through it, and like, well, I didn't have time. It's like, but